Hey everyone, I'm Kais and welcome back to the C++ tutorial series. This tutorial will introduce variables. We'll start with what a variable is. Essentially, a variable is just a little piece of memory that you can read and write to. A variable has a name and it stores a value. So for example, consider x equals 5. The variable name is x and it's storing the value 5. Now, why do you need variables? Well, variables are how a computer remembers information while it's running. For example, let's say you're writing software to manage a restaurant. Your program might need to remember all kinds of information, like how many customers there are, what they ordered, and how much everything costs. You might have variables for all of those things. You'll use variables in every program you write to describe the data the computer needs to recall later, or data that may change from one run of the program to the next. Alright, so how do we use them in C++? In C++, a variable has a type, a name, and a value. The type tells you what kind of data it stores. The name is how you refer to it in the program, and the value is what it's holding. So here's a quick example. Int x equals 5. Here, the type is int, which means it's storing an integer, which could be a negative number, 0, or a positive number. The variable here is called x, and we've given it a value of 5. So it's pretty easy to get started, but there are some rules you need to know. First, you need to know the most important built-in types. So as we just discussed, int stores integers. Double stores numbers that have decimal places, like 4.5. Bool, short for Boolean, stores either true or false. And char, short for character, stores a character like a, b, $sign, or the @sign. There are a few more, but these are the important ones for now. Now you know some types and what values they can hold. There's also some rules on what names you can give to your variables. So variables must start with a letter or underscore. Variable names are case sensitive, like everything in C++. So a variable named color with a lowercase c is not the same as color with a capital C. Variables cannot use spaces or other symbols. They must have only alphanumeric characters. So they can contain digits, but not at the beginning. And finally, there are some reserved words you cannot use as a variable name. For example, all the built-in types are reserved names, so you couldn't have a variable called int. So those are the basic rules. Let's go through a couple quick examples. I have a new project here, but you can reuse your old one and modify your main.cpp to look like this. In our main function, I'll make an integer variable called x, and we'll set it to 5. Now's a good time to introduce comments. When you're writing code, you might want to leave a note to yourself what it does. If you type 2 forward slashes, everything until the end of the line is a comment. This means the compiler will ignore it, and you can just type in plain English to make notes to yourself or to other people that read the code. If you want a comment to span multiple lines, use / followed by asterisk, and then an asterisk followed by /. Anything in between these is going to be a part of a comment. So remember, anything that's part of a comment will be ignored by the compiler, and it isn't part of the actual program that runs. Comments will be shaded a different color by your IDE. In mine, they're gray, but could be different for you depending on your color theme. Okay, so now we set x to 5, so let's print it out. Notice that we don't have quotation marks around the variable name here. Now, after the first time we use a variable, we don't need to use the type anymore. We just refer to it by its name. So we can do x equals 10 and a semicolon. Don't forget any of your semicolons. Let's print it out again. Now let's do x equals x times 2. This will make x equal to the current value of x times 2. So execution will start line by line from main. We'll declare x to be 5. We'll print it out, so we should see it print 5. Then we'll set x equal to 10, and we'll print it out again, so we should then print 10 on the next line. Then we take the current value of x, and we multiply it by 2, and we store that back in x. So this time, we'll see 20. Alright, so let's go ahead and add one final print statement here so that we can see that. Then let's add our cin.get so the program doesn't close too quickly for us to see. And then finally return 0 as usual from main. Alright, so let's go ahead and compile and run the program. And we'll see here, we printed out as expected 5 from this first line, and then 10 and then 20. Try some stuff out on your own. Make your own variables with their own names and modify them however you want. If you run into any problems or have any questions, leave a comment or send me an email and I'll help you out. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.